Hola mis amigos and possible amigas, my name is Taffrey16 and welcome back to another reaction video and welcome to my second reaction to the day today. So I did my first reaction list a couple months ago. In fact, I don't remember what the exact date was. Let me scroll through my thumbnails real quick here. The dumping ground, here we go. Day today. The last episode I did was in August. And recently, very randomly, it got a small viewership spike. I guess it hit some recommendations out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a show I did before. I should do another one of those. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go back to the first episode. Today, we actually saw the third episode last time. There's only 6 episodes, and I don't think it matters what order you watch them in, but we're going to go back to episode 1.
The headlines tonight: bottomly refreshed after 3 days on cross, Branson's clockwork dog crosses Atlantic floor, and sacked chimney sweep pubs boss full of mayonnaise.
Full of what? You talking actual mayonnaise or a different kind of mayonnaise? I hope not.
Welcome. On the day-to-day tonight, David Owen emerges shattered from Oliver Reed.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite such, so totally wanton and ghastly. Mess. Terrible.
And Portillo's wife defends crack habit.
It's cheap. Very cheap.
Hello, you.
Hello.
Prince Charles has volunteered to put himself in prison in order to highlight the plight of Britain's jails.
You can go hang out with
The
Andrew,
Prince
though.
made the announcement at some speech or other he was giving today. He said he wanted to set an example.
Where'd he get the
Prince has
speech?
been
Pizza
preparing
Express?
for his ordeal for the last 2 months by attending practice prison in a Rolls-Royce factory, sharing his cell with an old school friend. When he starts for real at Brixton next Tuesday, he'll be expected to muck in just like any other convict detained at his mother's pleasure, adopting the regulation haircut and activity programs. The Prince's choice, making a brush.
I am determined, as far as I'm concerned, to try at least. And in that sense, it will be my own small contribution towards a vision of Britain.
The American serial killer Chapman Baxter is to be executed tonight in the state prison in Tennessee in the manner of his own choosing. CBN's Barbara Wintergreen reports.
Tennessee State Penitentiary.
CBN.
For some, it's death row, but for convicted mass murderer Chapman Baxter, it's the last night at Heartbreak Hotel. Baxter's an Elvis fan, and tomorrow he dies like a king.
I always been a poor boy, never done nothing with my life, always taken from any community I've ever been in. I just figure I just want to die glorious. I just want to die like the king, like the
On
only
the
king
toilet?
that was Presley.
A special death bowl has been installed for this gruesome Presley demise.
He died on the toilet full of drugs and cheeseburgers. That's the way I'm going to go. I ain't going to no electric chair. I'm going to the electric toilet.
Like Presley, Baxter will gorge on cheeseburgers and drugs until he reaches 650 pounds. The historic weight will trigger the electric current and see Baxter skip dessert. Among those who'll be watching Baxter get all shook up is Tennessee Presley Fan Club president Alvin Holler.
Some people might say that this was debasing the memory of the king. Do you agree with that?
No, ma'am, no. The king did that himself by dying on the john in a big nappy.
But a special cheeseburger line in grim Elvabilia has gone on sale to commemorate tomorrow's pan fry.
But maybe after today, that is how people will think of the king.
You could be right there.
Press and protesters conduct a silent vigil outside this special Disgraceland, while inside Baxter chooses his backing vocals.
I figured Jailhouse Rock be appropriate. Maybe Are You Lonesome Tonight always moves me to that song.
At dawn, all hope of a retrial gone down the pan, Baxter prepares to return to sender. In a few moments' time, America will watch the Presley stand-in eat a sit-down meal with a difference. And if he eats too much, he may come out in a hot flush.
So, as Baxter turns as blue as his suede shoes, this is very definitely one burger king with extra fries to go. Barbara Wingreen, CBN News of the Elvicution, Tennessee State Penitentiary.
Holy shit.
Tomorrow sees the opening of the London Jam Festival, selling pots of jam, some made by celebrities.
Ain't that his
to
other
raise
show?
money for the homeless. With me is one of the organisers, Janet Breen. Janet, thanks for joining us this evening. This must have taken a heck of a lot of organising.
Yes, well, it has actually. To get all the celebrities to contribute their jam has really been quite an operation.
How much of your time did you put into it?
Oh, I would say at least 6 months.
6 months? To raise money for a jam festival? Isn't that rather stupid?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's all in a good cause. It's for
Good
the
cause,
homeless.
yeah, but how much are you going to raise?
Well, we hope to raise at least £1,500.
£1,500? That's a pathetic amount of money. You raise more money by auctioning dogs.
Well, I don't think so. I think it's all in a good cause and very worthwhile and worth
You've
doing.
persuaded these celebrities to waste their time donating to it?
Yes.
Well, who?
Glenys Kinnock we've got, and Sebastian Coe.
I hate Sebastian Coe.
I feel he's made a very worthwhile contribution,
What,
actually.
to the paltry sum of £1,500?
Yes.
Is that worth 6 months of your time?
Well, I think it is worth...
I don't think it is at all. I think the only reason you've done it is to make yourself look important. How dare you come on this programme and say, hey, look at me, I'm raising £1,500 for the homeless. You could raise more money by sitting outside a tube station with a hat on the ground, even if you were twice as ugly as you are, which is very ugly indeed. Has this been very upsetting for you?
Fucking God.
And have you anything else to say in your defence? Janet Breen, thank you.
Holy shit.
Oh,
Why?
Now comments from you, the public, in Speak Your Brains.
Oh my God. Holy shit,
The
that's
law.
funny.
Tightening up the law, is it required today?
I think so, yes.
In what areas?
Certainly, we have to do something about drug peddling.
If they ran into the newly tightened up law, would it smack them up sharp, or would it catch them gradually?
I think it needs to smack them up sharp.
To jerk the head back?
Yeah. Oh, sure, certainly, yeah.
Let's see if we can nail this down. In terms of this elastic band here, would you like to see the law tightened up to this tightness, tightness number 1, tightness number 2, or tightness number 3?
I think tightness number 3.
Tightness number 3 like this?
Yeah, I think we've really got to hammer these guys.
So that tightness being an average post office band extended over about 8 inches?
Perhaps, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Sport now with Alan Partridge. Alan, you're a keen fan of the law, aren't you?
I certainly am. I support the law fully. Not too keen on those that break it, though.
How do you support it, then?
Just generally support it.
What, generally turn up on a Saturday afternoon and wave from the touchlines?
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge, and it's a special desk of sport now as we look back on some of the sporting highlights of the last sporting season. So lie down, relax, and let the sports commence. When it's cycling championships you're after, you can't say fairer than the Tour de France.
Dive, Brandauer there in the lead, swaying from side to side in his own inimitable bike-riding way. Klaus Bin there on the inside, pumping away with those gristle-like muscly legs inside those tight lycra shorts, which have become his trademark.
Calm
I
down,
don't know
bro.
what this man is playing
What
at.
the fuck?
There's no way. Surely the judges must come down like a ton of bricks on that. Carrying bikes on top of a car is not a sportsmanlike way to run this race. You join me in the helicopter now as we look down on these cyclists that look somehow like cattle in a mad way, but cattle on bikes. And there's Sven Gunsen, closely followed by his great friend and teammate Klaus Bin. And the man with the bikes on his car is, yes, he's disqualified, as I said.
Oh.
And Klaus Bin there wins, riding non-handed. No need for that.
It was a belter of a season for athletics.
1,500 metres there, cram. And not a lot happening. Quite,
Is this the big jog?
Oh, good, someone's fallen. It's
Hey.
Peter Elliott, yes. He's down. Peter Elliott, no relation to the late Denham. And come on, Pete, back on your
Poor
feet.
Peter.
You can catch up with them. No, he can't be bothered.
And it was upsets all the way in the dive championships.
Greg Lagani, down, double back twister, bangs his head in. Excellent, lovely. Let's see it again. He boings down, up in the air, double back twister, comes down, bangs his head on the ball.
Oh, that's a concussion.
The judges surely will give him high marks for that.
Fuck.
But for my money, the best punches were being pulled this season in the boxing ring.
As he's affectionately known to me. Thank goodness, actually, they're wearing gloves, because I've witnessed bare-knuckle boxing in a barn in Somerset about 3 years ago, and it was a sorry sight to see men goading them on in such a barbaric fashion, and I'm rather ashamed to say I was party to that goading. And 2 men fighting, as I saw in the barn that night, naked as the day they were born, and fighting the way God intended. Wrestling at points. I don't know if you've seen Women in Love, the marvellous scene by the fire.
Oh.
It kind of resembled that.
I'm Alan Partridge, and that was my sporting season. Why don't you join me for another one? Join me.
I'll join you soon. Not on this show, but on another one. News.
Thanks, Alan. Time now for our resident humorist, Brant, the physical cartoonist from the Daily Telegraph, to cast a wry eye at the week's events. And it certainly has been some week, hasn't it, Alan?
Yes.
And so, with that in mind, Mr. Brant, put us in the picture.
Thanks, Chris. Well, this week John Majors had to walk a bit of a political tightrope.
Sylvester Stewart has today's
That
weather.
was it.
Starting in the southeast, where it'll be a misty day tomorrow with a droplet density of about 50,000 per spherical inch. That's roughly as if the mist were hugging the
Can't
ground
see it,
like
bro.
an over-affectionate and rather damp dog. Over to East Anglia and the Midlands. It'll be a warm day tomorrow, about 20. That's the sort of warmth you might feel on a January morning walking into a heated drawing room after chopping some wood. And finally, into the north of England and Scotland. A strong and highly long-lasting day tomorrow, with hail aimed vertically downwards from above, and there'll be a 30% chance. The summary then, breezes. And
Nice.
that's all the weather.
Forever. Oh, not again.
The law.
We're looking today at the letter of the law. Any problems?
Well, I've just been worried about what I've been watching on TV recently about all these fit-ups.
What about a poster campaign to promote the letter of the law?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
TV campaign?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
How quickly would you like to see this sort of action taken? Poster campaign?
Immediately.
Immediately?
Yes.
So here we are in the immediately future, looking at a poster on the wall of the letter of the law. Red on blue. What letter is it? What single letter? The letter of the law. What letter is it? No, what letter is it? What letter is it? The letter of the law.
J.
J.
In red on blue.
Yeah.
Environmation from me, Rosie May.
Environmation?
Britain is soon to have its first portable cemetery. The cemetery, which opens to the size of a football pitch and features real soil, holds up to 1,000 corpses. The portable cemetery saves waste.
Okay.
Scientists in Alaska have found a gap between the horizon and the Earth. The gap, which is 9 miles across, is believed to have been caused by recent storms which tore the horizon from its moorings. A team of civil engineers has now set off to lash the horizon back down with steel. I'm Rosie May, and
Whoa.
this is my planet.
Take a look at this.
Okay.
This is St Barley's Church in Coventry.
Okay.
That sequence will be featured in a full report on the Church of England, which is coming up now.
Nice.
If you mention the Church of England to most people, they immediately think of the sacraments and the holy blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. But to many within the church, there is another ritual. The ritual of the bullying ritual.
Oh, no.
Ex-curate Peter Litterton was intimidated by his very first vicar.
I went to the bathroom to
dimly?
wash after dinner, and I found my flannel in the toilet. Another time, I went into the bathroom and all the bristles, bar one, had been cut off from my toothbrush. Another time, he put bleach in my shaving cream.
Oh, that's not...
And Mrs. Cape stifled a giggle.
I see.
Touched
This
that.
is St Barley's Church in Coventry.
Barley's vicar, Bobby Skye, is a former bully himself, but has now
Oh, no.
decided to speak out.
Whoa,
The young deacon was being inordinated, then during the inordination ceremony, we would hum during his sermon, so we would be going, and he would be trying to speak and not knowing who was humming. And
How many of you were humming?
About 200 of us, 200 vicars, all going.
But while some are brave enough to speak out, others are still quietly being beaten up. Here in the vestry of St Champs in Coventry, we secretly rigged up one of our cameras to record some bad ecclesiastical hurting.
I'm sorry, Bishop, I'll do it again. I'm sorry, Bishop, I'll do it again. Why are you always being such an arse? Don't know, Bishop. I don't know, Bishop. I don't know. But fold it properly. Yes, Bishop.
Oh! Oh!
Yes, I was collecting up the hymn books, very well, these exact books.
Yes.
And I was stacking them, like so.
Yes.
And I'd stacked up to my chin.
I see.
So I was really at full stretch with about 30 hymn books. And he said, "Come on, Peter, you can fit another one in there." I said, "No, I can't, Reverend Cape, I really can't." And he pushed one in. He said, "You can fit another one." I said, "I can't." And he pulled my hair right back.
Yeah.
And so my head was like this. I thought I was going to choke. And then he ran along this pew, like that, and threw the books. "Pick them up! Pick them up!"
You do look a rather foolish boy, Paul. Clean it up. I'll be back later.
The bullying has got to stop. Stop the bullying. Start taking care of your flock. Pick on someone your own size. God's bigger than all of us.
There's a lot more than bullying going on from the church.
And since we've recorded that report, everybody featured in it has lost their hair.
Damn it!
The Day Today, slamming the wasps from the pure apple of truth.
The Home Secretary's new measures for dealing with neighbourhood noise have been introduced this week by Broxbourne Police, and it looks like they're working. Noisy people have been a problem in Broxbourne for years, but now if the police receive more than 5 complaints against a single household, they just turn up and release a tiger through the front door. So far, they say the Home Secretary's new measures have been 100% successful.
I imagine.
This weekend, BBC Two celebrates changing attitudes in the last 35 years of television in Attitudes Night.
Well, here we are at the hanging. It's a very somber atmosphere. The condemned man has just arrived with the executioner, Mr. Albert Marsh, who's highly respected.
The evening begins with a chance to savour again Great Britain's last televised hanging.
He's using a nylon hemp mix rope tonight for the first time ever. That's what he wanted. That's what he's got. It's to guarantee extra strength.
All right, Mudge, what can I do you for then?
The 60s saw television breaking taboos again and again, with Frampton Row, the first popular weekly serial, to use swear words.
I'm not made of money, especially not since Eddie Copsey and his blooming lids.
Oh, aye.
Go on then, I'll have the express. There, you big hairy cock. Ta-ra, Stan.
Ta-ra, you shitter.
What the fuck?
These days, it's very
my
fashionable
God.
among young people to do what I'm doing now.
How many different roles has Steve had during this? At least 4 at this point.
Known as a groupie. It's an interesting feeling and certainly
I just
quite
realized.
relaxing. Well, it's half an hour later. My initial reaction was one of intense joy, but that's now been replaced by a vague feeling of inadequacy and gloom. It's not an experience which I can see catching on, but neither is it one which I regret.
But while some programmes broke taboos, others, like Them Next Door, would in time become taboo themselves.
Next door again.
What's he want now, eh?
Mr. Eddie, I was wondering if I could be borrowing a cup of sugar for my lunch.
What'd he say?
He says he wants you to give him a punch.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm asking for sugar. That is why I'm here.
Well, I can't understand a bleeding word he's saying.
He says he wants you to give him a thick ear.
Oh, right.
Aye.
The same went for Channel 4's Kiddie Stare, the show which featured naked 2-year-olds romping for the pleasure of adults.
Must say it's looking in excellent condition. And yes, the lights have gone out. There, it's a good clean drop. There's the hanging. Well done, well done. They'll be pleased with that. And to play us out, we have Johnny Stoppard. Johnny, what are you going to play for us tonight?
Fancy Lady.
Fancy Lady. Well, fancy that.
Play me off,
This
Johnny.
is Corin Piper bidding you good night. Good night.
So join us for the start of the evening with The Hanging. That's Attitudes Night this Friday on BBC Two.
Good God.
Coming up, more cathedral dumping in Leicester.
Well, there was two of them, two bishops, to come along and just dumped it here and legged off down the road.
And Manchester police powerless against new weapon menace.
Well, basically, one of these and one of these have a range of 50 feet and can bring down a helicopter.
That turtle's like, please help me.
Time now for business with Calately Sisters.
Thanks, Chris.
Take her off the monitor, I don't want to see her face.
And no less up to date for British manufacturers. There were large profit slumps for Securivag and United Haha, down 6.4, joining Collins Perhaps units on a lower third rung. There was better news for
So many
Edge
fours.
Wedgebudge, who mustered 2.41 up 88 very slightly, but Oxy McGee flew back a ninth, despite a creeping bid from Connected Breath Dumps at 4. On the currency markets, how did the pound fare? A quick glance at the currency CAD. Not too well, I'm afraid. There's a disconcerting 47-degree slope against the dollar, yen,
Oof.
and Deutschmark. And if we project, in 4 months, the pound leg is effectively amputated, leading to a rogue leg with no hip constituency at all.
Oh.
Overall, then, for tomorrow's markets, good evening. Slightly fractious in the 9s and 7s. Chris.
Alternative medicine has been growing steadily in popularity over the last 7.5 years. The latest fad is sending thousands of patients
it's growing a lot
to
now,
a
too.
medieval hospital in Dartmouth. Iggy Pop Barker reports.
Have coronavirus? Just take bleach.
Bile chanting. You won't have received this kind of treatment before unless you're 500 years old.
It's 5 now.
The Sanctus Hospital in Dartmouth specialises in medieval healthcare and offers a range of historic remedies at 21st century prices.
Oh, this should really get rid of the melancholy, yeah? Sore a bit?
Physical complaints like the hardened lump on this woman's foot are treated as symptoms of spiritual disorder.
I'm going to make an incision here.
Yes.
And make the incision all the way round here and the
Yes.
other side.
Yes.
And then cut through and then remove this.
Yes.
This foot.
Right.
Remove
Right.
that
Yes.
and take it away.
Yes.
And bury it with some gooseberries.
We've done the tests and...
This woman is a witch and is being talked through the drowning procedure.
What we'll be doing is we'll be pushing you in the pool.
I see.
If you sink to the bottom, you're clear.
Uh-huh.
If you float to the top, obviously we're going to have to attach some weights to you and drown you.
You mean you want me to
just walk down?
To walk down the stairs.
Yeah, and I'll give you a bit of a shove.
All right, off I go then. That's right.
Take the hand,
Good Lord.
take the hand.
Dr. Philip Johansson is Europe's leading practitioner of bile chanting. He was one of the 4 doctors and 10 patients killed in this morning's blaze. Firemen say the chances of finding anyone else alive is minimal.
Real events shot by chance on amateur cameras are increasingly putting professional news crews out of business. Remedy Malahide reports.
A common studio accident, a man being electrocuted in the face by a loose cable. But what made the accident uncommon is that it was caught on one of these, a home camcorder. Hello, I'm Remedy Malahide, and tonight I'll be showing you just a cupful of the many thousands of unattractive events poured onto a lens by you, the public, in Genutainment. First, these remarkable scenes of an audacious bank robbery were captured by Mrs. Susan Briers, who owns the security cameras at the Norwood branch of NatWest. The real capturing happened soon after. Our reality eye fest continues courtesy of St. John's Ambulance Unit, who filmed this disturbing spectacle of a distressed caterer who had her finger trapped under the page of a book.
What the fuck?
Photo factuality now, and Mrs. Mandy Hell captured these snaps while out walking her brother on Wandsworth Common. The unnamed woman had been pierced by a shaft of frozen urine, which had fallen from the toilet facility of an overhead plane.
Oh.
And finally, Mr. Peter Dexy of Lancaster sent us amusing footage of a baseball attack outside his home. If you listen carefully, you can hear that Mr. Dexy's living room cuckoo clock happened to strike in time to each smash of the bat. But on now to our main visual splash, real-life tales of danger and rescue, which, thanks to this little child, It's a camcorder, we can actually show you each week on It's Your Blood.
Oh!
Every week on It's Your Blood, we feature an actual bad accident and show how you can avoid a similar fate. This week, Chopper of Doom.
Helicopters, machines with blades for cutting air. Air that's soft and easy to slice, like human beings. If a helicopter hits the ground at 100 miles an hour, it can be rebuilt. But for a man made of crushable bone and ligaments that tear, it's not quite so easy. In recreating the horrific events of the 12th of December 1992, we persuaded the original victims to face that ordeal again. We also use amateur video footage of the nightmare. All bodily fluids shown are the ones which actually emerged at the time. For this reason and many others, you may find the following sequence produces a very powerful sensation in your brain and body.
Farmer Chester Johnson uses a chopper for crop surveillance and he flies it himself. It's 10 o'clock on the birthday of his sheepdog Lindsay, and Chester has planned him a treat.
It was a ride in the helicopter. I knew he'd like it, so I decided to video it for him as a memento.
What he didn't know was that he and Lindsay were about to make a flight neither of them would ever forget, even if their brains were erased with mind rubbers. At first, everything was normal. They were up and enjoying the ride.
It was smooth and exhilarating, like an aerial motorbike.
But then Chester decided to look at his watch.
Oh no.
A watch we later found to have a dangerous design. The aircraft was now perilously out of control, and to make matters worse, it was heading straight towards a field of children looking for worms.
Damn it! What are the odds?
By sheer luck, a member of the public, Mrs. Maureen Tucker, had noticed the helicopter and started shooting these valuable pictures with her own camera. After 10 minutes, she called for help.
Hello, Control Tower. Oh no, it's one of our helicopters out of control.
I wonder who that can be.
It could be Chester Johnson, and that's got a dog on board. We better call a shepherd then.
The steel vulture of Beelzebub was now just seconds away from the children's soft heads.
Who the fuck?
The airfield, move the stick slightly. Now
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
250.
Ready? Come by.
You're doing well.
Come by.
By sheer brilliance, the shepherd dog team also managed to avoid an old woman up a stick in a nearby field. While the heroes celebrated, the shepherd's unattended flock caused a pile-up on the M5 in which 430 people were injured. Mercifully, the ordeal forged such firm bonds between the victims that it led in many cases to marriage.
Oh.
If this happened to you, would you know what to do?
No.
Your chances would be improved considerably if you made sure someone on the ground had one of these. It's a pocket shepherd.
Oh.
It costs just £59. A small price to pay for the gift of a functioning body that works properly.
News, Jiffy.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was 39, but 59 is a bit steep.
Just time to have a quick look at tomorrow's headlines. Aristocrat's dung saves village from flood. That's in the Mail. Today, drowned Italian wins Eurovision. The Express go with Lord Mayor's pirouette in fire chief wife decapitation. Grisly but gripping. The Sun, Robin Koch. And the Daily Star, feel my nose and put my specs there, Raw's drunken major. That's it.
Oh my God.
That's the day today, on the day that Boris Yeltsin told the world how he milked Mrs. Thatcher. Good night.
Unfortunately, he wouldn't be the last Boris you have. Jesus, that segment where he just tore the jam lady apart. That poor jam lady. Also, I was waiting that whole helicopter segment for somebody to get decapitated, but it didn't happen. I was preparing for it, but no, guess not. Luckily, all the kids looking for worms were saved, and that random lady on a pole. But Jesus. Steve Coogan had like 5 different roles during that, I think. But this show is just hilarious. And we'll probably end up finishing this. Again, there's only 6 episodes. So I think we'll probably end up doing more of this. And of Of course, Alan himself got a show, which we'll end up doing maybe sooner than you think as well. But I think I like this from an overall standpoint better than the other episode I saw. Again, the fucking, that poor jam lady. That poor jam lady. What was your favorite segment? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know when you'd like to see me do more of this. That's going to do it for me today, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, my Twitch, where I stream every single day, my second channel for any views, my Twitter. If you want to follow me, my Patreon, you will support me on my daily motion. All those things are in the description down below. Thank you to all who's currently recording. 105, I think, of my Patrons who can't support me, my channel. For those who don't know, you can be a Patreon on me for as low as $1 or £1. You exit direction videos, as well as reading comments up to a day early, and you get your name in the description as well. Also in the description is linked to the community Reddit, as well as the daily schedule, as well as the Twitch Files channel. For all that being said, though, my name is Taff16. This has been my second reaction of the day today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.